definitely needed second screen to be able to do that. All right. Well, we are live. Hello,
Welcome,
welcome.
everyone.
Yeah, welcome everyone to our second stream. I am Nick, and I'm joined here today with Timo.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, and so today we are working on a paired programming session where we will be working on the Mama Duck and Detector Duck combo. Uh, this is so why we're building this. This is for when we are doing a deployment and we need to set up our ducks. It can be difficult to figure out how far away you need to deploy or when do you need to deploy another duck. And to figure this out, we've been using a device called the Detector Duck. And the Detector Duck works quite simply by just sending a ping, and when nearby ducks send a pong, it will change color on an LED depending on the RSSI value. RSSI is essentially the signal strength of the message received, or the pong. So this is super valuable. It makes setting up devices really easy because you can just watch the detector duck, and when it changes color to from green to red, then you know, okay, it is time to set down another duck. So this makes this really fast and really easy. However, having a whole separate device just to do this one task when it could be done on one of the regular ducks, it could be a lot more efficient. So that's why we are building into the Mama Duck code and an example where you can transform a Mama Duck into Detector Duck on the fly. Now, how you? Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, and the problem is with the devices is a lot of these different boards they don't have a dedicated button you can program. So we were trying to find a way how to switch between these two ducks without being able to like turn on a switch that says go from mama to detector. So we found a pretty intuitive way is where we use this captive portal, like we mentioned last week, to do a lot of interaction with the device. So you can submit text through the captive portal that we send over the network. You can reboot the device, all kinds of things you can do through all the exposed APIs for the web server that's on the device. And Nick came up with this thing that's called the control panel. It's a separate page inside of this captive portal that will have different features you can trigger on the device. And one of them, the first one, is the hybrid detector duck mama duck. So last week we started with this where we went into the net duck net stuff, which is all the setup for the Wi-Fi, and we created a new page. That was the first thing we did, which was called I think it was called the control panel. Inside of the control panel, we made a simple button that just says if you or it just says click make detector or make mama, and if you click on it, it will trigger an action. Yeah, Nick, and what are we gonna do today?
Yeah. So we actually have a little list here of uh, what we what we need to add. So we last time we created a new page and we added it to our DuckNet. Now what's left to do is we need to now connect that to a method that will have some kind of flag that we can turn on and off and be able to check to say, okay, should I turn into a detector or should I stay as a mama and vice versa. So then the next part is we got to add in the behaviors of a detector duck. So that's such as the ping handler, callback for checking the RSSI, and then turning the LED different colors depending on the RSSI values. So I was thinking what we can do to start for today is we can start back here at the .net. So last time we added a web page here, control panel, when you are connected to the Wi-Fi of the duck and you go to this route, it will serve you the control panel page, which we worked on right over here. Actually, maybe we can just change this here to control panel. I don't think we need this here. So, and then here, this is the page that it serves, and we have here, we have a input where we have a submit button where it says to turn detector on, and we just have here quite simply just goes to a route to run a function. So actually, we can add this in real quick. So we want flip detector. So we can just copy this one up here.
Yeah, so the page is being served by get, so we're pulling the page in. And if you want to trigger something after you submit something, you do a post. So what Nick is doing now is he's building a post method for whenever we trigger the button, it triggers the flip detector page. And inside of that flip detector, we can set the flag to true or false, or we can change something on the duck. That's exactly what he's doing now.
Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to run a flip method. Now, we do have a place where we have a bunch of flags or that are used by the rest of other utilities, and so that we have that in the duck utils. So here we have a couple of functions and things that are used by different ducks. So one of these is the create UID, UUID, which we use for messages. But yeah, so here will probably be a good place where we can put our flag for the detector duck on and off. So let's go here and we can put in a bool, and that will be our detect on. All right, and then we are going to initialize it here. On. So we're going to have it as false. Now what we need to do is we need to have a function that we can call to set this. So if we go, maybe what we can do is we can put underneath here, or here actually, let's put this one up here. And we'll put down here bool get detect on. All right, and here we will return detect on, because we're going to need to be able to figure out what the value of this is, and then we can do here bool flip detect on. So detect, well, first actually what we need to do here, so we want to detect on is equal to the opposite, and then we want to return the new value. Okay.
Yeah, so the value detect on could hold the value detect off. So we could change the naming, but I know what you're saying.
Well, it was, I mean, if what would you suggest to make this more readable?
Maybe instead of detect on, we just call it detect state because it could be off as well.
Well, it's a true false. All right. So if it's on, I don't know. Maybe I guess we could do state. Why
It
not?
doesn't really matter, but it just yeah.
Let's do
Maybe
detect
people
state.
get thrown off because of it could be off or on in the same value.
Detect state. All right. Actually, let's make this easier. Oh. There we go. All right, so we got detect state. And now we gotta change that in.
.h.
And we also have to add into here is our get text state. And we have to get our flip. Oops. Not me to do that. Fat fingered. Alright. Does that look good? Alright. So
Charlie said in the chat that we can just return not detect state. But he doesn't know we need the information somewhere else.
we do need the information somewhere else, so we actually have to change it because what we're going to do is now all these files are separated. So we're going to need to be able to tell the INO or the running code that, hey, you need to change into DetectorDuck. So we will need to know what this. We'll need to save this state somewhere so that we can pull it and know when it changes. There might be a better way where we can directly change something somewhere else, but I think that would take a bit more architecting and changing how things would work. But that might be something further down the line that we can say, hey, we really like this feature and make it incorporate it better into the code. But yeah, so we will need to we'll be grabbing this the state somewhere else. So we'll need that saved. All right, so now we have our flip detect state. Now we can tell here. So we're already using, the thing is in ducknet.h, we are already, let's see. Let's check here, ducknet.h. We already use duckutils. All right, so we can include, so that's already included. So we can already go up to here, and we should be able to duckutils. Yep. And we want to use our flip detect state.
Yeah, so because in this file we already have methods that are inside of the duckutils configuration file, so we already have access to it. If we did not have that, we have to include it inside of our .h file for the ducknet. But we already have,
which we will need to do for our to be able to get the actual state. So yeah. I think where we would want to put this is in. So this is duck detector. I know we're looking for duck detect CPP. So in here, we want to put in a method where we call the duckutils and we can see if it's on or off. Or, what do you think? Should we put it in Mama Duck? So there are three places where we could put it, right? So we could put it in the duck detector, or we could put it in the Mama Duck, or we could put it directly in the INO.
It depends. I think because we need to do it both ways, from Mama to detector, from detector to Mama. So we should be able to do it from both places, right? But if we strictly look at the duck detect code, it should be all the functions that the duck detector do. I think this could be inside of the INO. Why? Because it's a feature that enables the instance of duck detector. It's not part of the duck detector code itself. So if I think if we live up to the code standards, we should do it outside of like the app layer and inside of the INO, because we want to keep it separate from the code base essentially, which is the example file. What do you think?
Yeah, so the only issue is that we have to access a header file that's in the include folder here, and we have to migrate from the example folder, and depending on also it depends if you're not in the example folder, you'd have to put in the direct location, right? So that's not the most ideal. Because you'd have to get the location of this, and if you were not using an example, let's say if you weren't using the example code, which the example code is great because it's inside in here, but you can't save to it unless you're editing it directly like we are here.
Yeah. So should we make it part of the Mama then, because it's a feature for the Mama to turn it into a detector?
Yeah, maybe we do that for now, but we can always change that and see how we like it there, and we can see how we like that. All right, so let's open up the Mama Duck CPP we got here. So we have a ducks folder with all of the CPP. Okay, so here we are. Now, see packet relay. All right, why don't we tack on something here on the bottom? And that will be a bool. And that will be detect state. Now we have to include here or actually, you know what, not in here. Let's do it in the .h because that's a lot easier. Where is the Mama Duck .h?
So it should be I think it's duck.h, isn't it? Because Mama Duck. Oh yeah, there it is actually. Under duck.
Yeah, here we go. So here we can just do include, then include again, and we can go right here at the bottom, duck details. All right, so now we have access. Return duck utils, and then get detect state. All right, so that should return the state. Now we just need to add this to our header file.
So this one just gets us the state of what it's in. It doesn't change if it's on or off, right?
Does not change it. This is all we're doing is checking, okay, did the state change? Okay. So there might be a better way, but this is just maybe a more simple implementation. All right, so now we need to go here. All right, so last time we added this part right here where if detect is on, then we will run the detector mode. If it's not, run the mama duck mode. So now what we need to do is we need to if now we have our new method duck dot where is it? Is it get detect state right here?
Is it not do we make an instance of detect? Or did we call it duck? We should have two instances.
We do have two instances. Yeah, we have detect and we have duck.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I might need to see if we need maybe adds the. Well, hopefully, I don't know. We'll see when we run it.
So you're getting the state from the mama because duck is the mama instance. So you're doing essentially doing mama that get detect state.
Mm-hmm. So we have two duck objects that we're using here, right?
Yeah, duck and detector. Duck and detect. Sorry.
Yeah. And so there's two separate instances. So if detect on, we want to detect on equals true. All right, so what this is doing here, if detect on is false, we want to make detect on true. And if it's already on, we don't want to do anything. Now, if it's not on, then we want to make, if detect on, we want to do detect on equals false. All right, so if we can get our code to work on first try, this should work.
So then there's also the bottom if, and that says
so this will always be running. That it'll decide whether to do. All right, I guess we could just put this as part of. We could put this in here.
Yeah, because we can say if it's detect on.
Since we're anyways checking, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So these if statements will only run when it changes, when there's a change.
Because it will always loop for duck to get detect state.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so that is looking good. All right, so we've now done this. We have added a method for turning on and off, and we're able to get the state. Now, next, basically we need to just grab all this stuff and put it into here. So we can use this from the detector INO. We're going to need the ping handler here, this one. We're going to need show signal quality. Let's just grab these guys. And so this is also what the beauty of having all of these examples is, that you can just copy and paste whatever code you need or functionality you need to do your project and build something new.
Yeah, I think we need to copy over one more method.
Yeah, one more method, and then also another call. So we're gonna need this one. but we're going to have to make some changes to these guys. And then we're also going to need this one.
Because these methods will run all the time right now. So probably what we need to do is add something that says only run these methods if the detector is set to on.
So now we have a callback function. So this makes it really easy to we want this not to run. So if detect on,
could we do this where we run these methods in those if statements inside of the loop?
What did you say?
So will it automatically run these methods even though if it's a mama duck?
It'll run this because we have this callback here that when it receives, it will run this method here.
But it will only run if it's a detect, right? Not if it's a duck.
Well, this callback will run.
Okay.
But it's fine because we just have this right here.
Yeah. Okay.
We could if we had a way to if we canceled the callback and then turning the callback back on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is okay for now. This will definitely improve this as we go on. But yeah, so you have the show signal quality. It'll only do it when detect is on. Let's see. Now, what we need to do is we need to send the ping. Now, we have that run on a timer. So what we want to do is when detect was off, we have a timer that we use right now for the running sensor, but we want to cancel that and start a new one.
And there's already a cancel method inside of the timer function.
And so every 3 seconds, we want to do ping handler, though we don't want those parentheses. All right, and we want to do the same thing when we turn the mama duck back on. We will have here.
It looks so easy when you do it.
Well,
I totally think about that.
So, all right. So, I think we are looking pretty good. So we've added this. We've added the timer. We've added the ping handler. We have the callback for checking the RSI, and we have show signal quality.
So what we have done right now is inside of our INO, we made 2 different ducks, a detector duck and mama duck. There's a way of saying, hey, be a detector duck or be a mama duck based on the state of the detector needs to be in from the mama duck. Mm-hmm. So that just it loops through a function every time and gets the state of the detector. If that changes, so the true becomes a false, it also says go from mama duck to detector duck. Quick question already. How do we go from a detector duck back to a mama? Do we just turn on and off the device?
No, you don't need to do that. You can just press the button again, because remember it flips the. So we had set up here, if you press the button again, it does flip detector state. So it'll take whatever is there and flip it again. And I mean, you could very quickly, it might actually be faster just to reset the device, but if you don't have access to the reset button, and you just want to use your phone, or if we, let's say, ideally, if we added this to the app, then it would be very quick, yeah. And so because how we set this up here, it's always checking the state. So when the state changes, it will figure it out and start using the different behaviors. All right, so I think we are in a good spot to try this out. It'll probably be some kind of problem, but you know.
Do you have a duck there you can try it with?
Yes, I have a T-beam. All right, so this looks good. Let's
compile and see if everything at least.
Yeah, let's see if it at least compiles.
Zach asks if we can do this remote. We could, but then the value of a detector duck becomes invaluable because you need to be able to have the duck with you and walk around to be able to use it. We could, if we have two-way communications built into the CDP, which is a big milestone for the next quarter, we could potentially do this because the only thing we have to do is just, instead of doing it through the portal, we just have to trigger that method. So we call it method. But the problem becomes you want to have the detector duck in your hand to walk around with it to make it, to use it. So we could do it, but there would be no value because if the duck is stationary, you won't be able to use it as a detector duck.
Let's see, get detect state. Undefined. All right, let's check it out. But yeah, also on that same note, though, we are planning to add in a function where you can ping a device in the network and force it to send a message. Like if you want to check that it's there or that you can reach it, we do plan to be adding that soon. So let's see. Let's look at the duck.h. Did I spell it wrong? Let's see, what does it say here? Undefined reference.
Mama detected get detect state. Do we expose this one in the .h file?
Yeah, it's right here. Get detect state. Yeah, I don't think I spelled it wrong, but it's the same. Let's see, Mama Duck. This is not. Oh, that was There you go. That's what's missing.
You didn't define the instance of Mama Duck.
And it is part of the class.
Yeah. Zach makes another good point. It would be cool to use like a stationary detector to get. We don't see the data inside of like a DMS, so you won't be able to see the colors change. It's like a signal strength, but maybe we could build like a tool where you can expose the one packet that just says I received pings from 5 ducks around me, and these are the signal strengths, like a stationary detector where it just kind of checks for devices around you.
Yeah, and there's a lot that you could do with if you have data such as nearest neighbor.
Yeah.
Right,
the whole duck positioning system, which TerraCore was working on, is one of the open source projects that could be very interesting to get that kind of data.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it compiled. So I'm just going to upload this guy and see what happens.
I don't think you're able to actually show the form because then the internet
Oh,
drops.
but what I can do, though, is I can show what it would be looking like on my phone, given that it actually works. But so if I just it's just HTML, so I can just copy this.
Next time you can even call in from your phone and do the screen share. That'd be pretty cool.
All right, so if I just edit this, where does it let me edit?
Wow, I've never tried it that way. That's interesting.
There's a way that lets you edit this. Oh man, haven't
you can
done.
Just click on it, double click, and then you can just type in it.
No, it's not letting me.
You can always create a index.html on your desktop and just open that file.
Yeah. How did I? This is like how I always did it. It's like how I would just like go in and just edit.
Just drop your H. You can always
here edit as HTML. There we go. There we go. And then,
delete everything pasted.
There you go. And you can just there you go. If you want to just try out some code, you can just write it up directly in the browser. So yeah, cool. So then when I click this, it will try to go, which it didn't work because there is no the route. It does not exist. All right, let's see. All right, did it upload? All right. And we have here our serial. It is sending counter data. Okay. So now I'm going to try to connect to our duck here on my phone. As like Timo said, if I try to connect it on my computer, then we would disconnect. It would be nice to maybe have like a... What?
There's no debugging info in there, right? We don't print the state yet.
We should put that in.
Yeah.
That is like good practice. All right, let's see. Open up my browser. So how to access this page, you have to go to the IP address. So that's 192.168.1.1, and then we're going to go to /control panel. All right, let's see if it opens up the page.
A moment of truth.
Oh, did not. Let's see. Can I go to the other pages? So if can I go to the Wi-Fi? Can I go to the Wi-Fi page? Oh yeah, I can't open it. There's something wrong with the. Here,
you can or can't?
I can't. So there's either something wrong with the DNS or there's something wrong with the Wi-Fi. This can sometimes happen on some of these boards where, at least when the kind of testing that we go through and we put these boards through a lot, that you can have problems with the different parts. So, all right, let's see. Let's check the port 4. Just try this with the Heltec and just upload it there. So this one I have hooked up is a Papa Duck. Was previously a Papa Duck, but now it's going to be a Mama detector.
So what I'm thinking, maybe real quick, is whenever... Well, actually, where it goes wrong is creating the page. So... Yeah. We should look into the naming of your HTML file and your web server naming.
Yeah, so let's see.
So that's called control_panel.
Just a hyphen, not underscore.
Sorry, hyphen.
So yeah, so having a problem here. So when I do connect to it, the default page does come up. So that's the portal. The portal is our way where you can send messages over the network. So all it is just text box. You can put a bit of text in there and hit a submit button, and it'll send the message over the mesh network. We have other pages though as well, such as update, which you can update the firmware over the air. Let's see, what other pages do we have? We have some other pages where you can just grab data, but also you can change the Wi-Fi credentials. That's really helpful for Papa Ducks. So let's see. Did it finish? And it's still compiling. Yeah, this is just one of the things with working on Arduino. It takes forever, especially when you're doing this over and over and over again, and you have to wait. If you make one line change, you have to wait through the whole process again. The woes of hardware.
But so what I'm looking real quick is we do have. I do remember when I was working on some code that the naming of the portal is very interesting, and sometimes this doesn't work. So I'm going into our example for the custom portal example, and I check real quick how we did it over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I must see something wrong with how we serve it.
I would try to take the hyphen out of the naming and just use camel case.
Okay, I can try that. Let's see. I'm just gonna. So now that this finished uploading on HealthTech, let's see if I can connect to it. All right, there it is. All right, and then we're gonna go again. Yeah, it's not opening it up right away. So, alright, let's try it.
Sorry, not that page, the line number 55, where we pass in
the here, okay.
And then we have to change it into ducknet.h. Sorry, only you have to change it into the HTML one.
Let's see. All right. Let's try.
Shouldn't be the problem, but you never know what goes wrong.
Worth a shot. All right. Let's see what else could be an issue here. Let's see. Did it me? Well, it looked good when we looked at it on the web page, so the code should be fine. Didn't throw any errors or anything like that, did it?
Yeah, just check with the Wi-Fi page, for example. We do it exactly the same way, so that shouldn't be the problem. We could try changing the URL to just control, maybe. You never know how URLs are being handled by the web server.
All right, let's see. We made the name change. Now let's connect to it again.
Yeah, and also just do the name change for the slash control panel account. Just make it slash control.
Yeah, let's see. I also got rid of that part, so let's see.
Oh, good. We can upload again. See. So for anyone listening, the problem is we created a new web page, which is slash control panel. What is happening on Nick's phone, it doesn't show up the page, although it's a super simple.
Oh, okay, it gotta show up.
Okay, so it wasn't naming that threw it
Well,
off.
so it wasn't. I don't think it was the naming issue. What I did was turn off my cellular.
Oh, maybe that was.
I don't know. So I don't know why that was. Usually that's not. It doesn't get in the way, but it seems like it was trying to do it over the internet, and I don't know if
Maybe your cell provider has a web page that's called Control Panel.
Oh, well, no, it's because I'm going to the IP address, so we're going directly to the IP address, but. It could be on my phone that I have to say to trust the Wi-Fi. I don't know, but all right. So here we can check this out here. All right. So if I press the detector on, what happens? Oh. All right. Well, what we can say is
it's triggering something.
It did trigger it, so you can see here it says detector says ping. So that means that we tried to send a ping. Now, what is this error? So there is a tool that we can use to figure this out. Okay, it might be hard to see.
You can just read it out loud what it says.
Yeah, so it says that it had a problem on duck packet reset and prepare for sending. So it didn't send the packet. I'm wondering, so what reset does is it basically clears out the whatever was in the transmit vector, what we use to transmit. So it just empties it out because we use the same one over and over again. It makes sure that it's empty. So what I'm wondering is that because we had set up, it might not be grabbing the instance, and so when it tries to reset, it's actually trying to reset a null object. So let's take a look.
Because we technically did not change anything to the detector code. So our code works. It's just the way now that the detector is being set up kind of like interrupted, and that might break something, right? Because the code we did works, triggering detector to mama.
So yeah, let's look at the duck radio. So we do have an instance, so we have duck packet here. So I'm wondering if when we might need to set up the radio for get instance. Because that does it in duck radio, correct? So,
but when we create the instance of detect, shouldn't it start a radio instance?
So, well, we didn't do so normally. So, if you look here, so when we set up, when we set up a well, maybe we can try putting this here. Have this run once before. But I don't know. I don't think that would help. But we can just throw it there.
Where do we do duck.setup with defaults, where we create all the services.
Yeah. So this is where we create we initialize the DNS, the radio. So if we look at Mama Duck, so here, set up with defaults.
I know, but where do we do that for the detect? Is there a detect.setup with defaults?
Yes, there is.
Do we need to invoke, call that method? Because there's no place where we create an instance of detect, but we don't set it up. So we could do detect.setup radio.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking too, is doing the setup radio part here. For detect, because let's see, if we look at detect here, so what happens is we just here, so send ping. All right. So it does prepare for sending. Okay. Vector byte data. Yeah. Okay. Prepare for sending. So when it goes to prepare, so does this also use duck packet? No, it does not.
So there is a method just called, you're already in it, duck detect dot setup with defaults.
Yeah. So prepare for sending.
But we don't call the setup with defaults inside of the INO, do we?
We do it for Mama Duck. With Mama Duck.
Oh, you're saying this? Yeah, that makes sense. Because we're not reflashing the device, we're just changing the function of the device, so it should have still set up those things. Okay.
Yeah, sense. So the radio should be on.
Will be on.
But it could be a problem for this file to, let's see, but where is duck detect here? When it does this duck radio, though, it should be grabbing the instance that was created by the Mama Duck. It should be able to get that.
We can test this. You just do a duck.setup radio in the if statement and see if that fixes it, and then we can confirm that.
All right, we can try it.
Because what we do is we don't even get to the duck instances because we switch to the detect instance of detector.
Alright, so I need all of this stuff. So what I'm grabbing here is the radio configuration.
Just call detect.setup with defaults.
Let's see. What do we get with that? Because I'm just...
I have it in front of me. We get radio, DNS, web server, OTA. We just don't get the Wi-Fi, set up Wi-Fi, because that's commented out, but we can just...
would it be a problem if we set the DNS up twice?
I'm not sure.
Alright. Let's go to... setup serial. Device ID. I mean, what we could do is maybe I could just comment these guys out for a second. And then let it do setup radio.
Yeah, but then it's so what you can also do then is just do duck.setup radio. You don't need to pass in the LoRa configurations if you don't want to, because they will use the default settings in the CP/CFG. So then I would say don't do this default. Just do detect.setup radio instead of the INO file. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Not the best solution, but we can.
We can just try. I just want to see if that might fix it. Boom.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see if it likes it. While we wait for that, what would be our plan B? Oh, we're actually almost at time here.
Yeah, we can maybe keep going for just to see if this works. And
then maybe we stop.
Because I'm curious to see if the goal of the thing works, right? We can flip between the two through the captive portal. I'm curious to see. We should look into how we set up the instances if we do this the correct way, because there are two. There's a detect, there's a duck instance, and we should set up a mama and just trigger the detect functions. But that might have some problems by doing so. You're pulling up your phone?
Yeah. So if we go here, let's just clear the output. All right, so
the mama duck is sending messages every couple of seconds now. That's what you're seeing in this screen.
All right, I was able to get to the page.
Click on the button.
All right, looks like it's pinging.
It's working. Sweet.
It worked.
Dude, so it's pinging every 3 seconds.
All right.
And so the one thing we have to look into is if it still has the if you can check this real quick. If the portal still shows up, that means we're still using the instance of Wi-Fi and set up DNS from Mama. If it doesn't show up, it means we have to re-instance all those things, which we can just do by calling the setup by defaults. Are you able to access any of the pages?
Let's see. Because the DNS should still be. And we'll go to. Now let's just put the control.
Well, if you're already on the page, it means it's working, because otherwise you wouldn't even have a Wi-Fi.
No, I'm able to open up the control panel again. So if I press it again, let's see. All right, there you go. It flips right back to the counter.
Cool.
That's the Mama Duck.
Oh, it even starts after counter 10, so it just picks
Well,
up.
yeah, because the counter stuff. That's awesome.
Cool.
All right, it works.
We're perfectly on time. I think we streamed for exactly an hour right now, so that's good.
We got it to work.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to push this up to GitHub. We'll have a branch for it so people can see it, because obviously this will need a lot of cleaning up, commenting on the code. We need to make sure it's all in the correct spacing. But I think we'll maybe do that off stream. It's just easy cleanup. And what we should do is we should figure out what we're going to work on next week. maybe another problem. So if anyone has suggestions, just drop us a quack in Slack, like Terracora's new catchphrase. But this is
Yeah.
cool. I like this. It's pretty sweet. I was not sure we were able to figure it out, but it does work. So
Yeah, no, it was so yeah, so it was just having an issue with the radio part. So that's good. It looks pretty good. I'm sure down the line there's going to be some improvements that we can put in here. Um, but other than that, it looks good. So yeah, so this will be on GitHub. This stream also is being recorded, so we'll be posting it up on YouTube. And yeah, tune in. Be doing another one next week. Join our Slack. We'll leave a link in the description, and we can discuss what will be the next issue that we'll be tackling in the next stream.
awesome. Spoken like a true streamer. Okay, thanks, Nick.
All right, thanks, Dion. All right.